Okay, third time lucky. Let's go. Last video I made was in February, I think. Now it is November 2020. What a year. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness. It's been pretty hard. Pretty hard. Integrating all of this work that I've done throughout this channel, throughout the last 5-6 years of this channel, has been a feat in itself, and I'm really glad to say that I am seeing some fruits of this labour, but it has been so incredibly hard, and I don't know how I'm still here, if I'm honest. Emotional. Yeah, some really hard things have happened this year. My mum passed away about 2 months ago, and the whole journey leading up to that point has been a roller coaster. COVID happened, and then we had to take care of her and my dad. Not so much until around about May, and then she got to a state where she needed us to come every day and be with her and look after her and take care of her, and take care of someone in every single way possible that you think you need to, and hope that you never do when you're older, but it happens. And I just didn't think it was going to happen to my mum at being so young, at 67. But this illness took her. She had a very rare form of cancer, so rare that it's like a 1 in 1 million chance, and there was only two specialists in the country that could actually deal with this cancer. Yeah, really, really weird. And the whole story behind it has been my own journey of being able to understand why, with us having no history of cancer within our family, how she was able to contract it, especially with her being the most healthiest out of all of us. My dad, me and my brother, we were all smokers, drinkers at one point, and yeah, she wasn't. On that note, I haven't drank since I got ready for taking grandmother ayahuasca last year, so it's almost been a year, December the 13th, 14th, where I haven't drunk. The need to drink has gone completely, been eradicated from my system, which is incredible. So I'm really happy about that. And yeah, it's just been a really interesting time, because when I took ayahuasca, I pretty much had a premonition of the entire year. I saw myself and my boyfriend in a little bubble. It was all black, and I saw my mum as well, and me taking care of mum, her coming back, and then also her actually going, which is what happened. And yeah, it's just been a real roller coaster integrating all of this stuff. During this time, I've started to understand the reason why my mum was the way she was towards me, and also I've been looking throughout this channel of what's actually caused my depression, what's been the problems within my depression, what's the reasoning behind it, because I've been refusing to take medication, and I've been using CBT techniques, which have been really good, really, really good, but now I completely understand as to how, if you don't get down to the root of things, then there's no way that you are going to be able to cure your issue. And I didn't realise that the issue was with my family. Now, I don't want to accuse anybody of anything, and I don't want to put anything on anyone. That's been my main concern while doing this work. It didn't sit right to me that we have a culture of narcissism where people are going, oh yeah, this person's a narcissist, oh they're narcissistic, oh da da da. There's just all of this, and I've seen some people that I actually respect, and in terms of starting to think about narcissism and work with narcissism and understand it, that really have quite biased views, and it's well and good you trying to educate the masses about narcissism, but how do we sort this epidemic out? Because how do we do it? So people who are thinking, shit man, I've got narcissistic tendencies, so what is it that I'm going to do? What is it that I'm going to, you know, what is it, how am I going to cure myself? And there was nothing at all anywhere to help you sort yourself out, basically. And what I found is through my relationships with my friends, my family, and also with my partners, that there was a consistent pattern of toxicity. There was something going on there. And as I investigated further, I realised that it was mainly due to the relationship that I had with my mother, but there's definitely stuff to do with my father as well, but mainly with my mother. And then also there's something called attachment styles, and I happen to be anxious ambivalent, which is probably one of the, unfortunately, worse well off than the other attachment styles. And this really explains so much. And when I started to look at the way that anxious ambivalent were taken care of as a child, it just resonated massively with me. But I didn't agree with the fact that, you know, that we were demonizing our caretakers, because I don't believe in that. And that's what prompted me to have a look at the way that they were brought up. And as my mum was being sick, and you know, she was in that state where we were going there and seeing her every day, I got to know her and my father and hear a lot more stories about their childhood and about how they grew up, because we were having so many, you know, really lovely times where we'd all sit together and talk, and precious moments of family connectivity during this time. And we ended up I ended up finding out so much about my family, especially about my father, not so much about my mother. But then when I started to trace back the family and the family history, and also look at her family and the way that they are in terms of personality, it made so much sense in terms of this narcissistic dynamic that was perpetuated by my mother's mother. And my mother's mother was an orphan, so she didn't know her parents. So however she got brought up was exceptionally interesting. But I'm probably gonna make another video on cultural narcissism, because this is just too big. So as I've looked at the family traits, I've also looked at the same with my father, and it's just been really traumatic to hear about their stories of upbringing. Even though they had a wonderful childhood, they also had a really hard childhood. And through the years of living here and being told that, you know, we have it so good because we have everything that we want, made you feel guilty about thinking that your emotional needs were not met. And I think that's the most important thing about this culture of narcissism. We are facing a whole epidemic of people who don't have their needs met as children, and reclaiming that lost inner child and healing and soothing that lost inner child is probably the greatest work I think that each of us will ever do if we have any kind of problems with that side of ourselves. And you see it in wars, in the stuff that's going on in the news. These are all exceptionally injured children that are making, you know, Trump is this poor wounded child, you know, who was just totally spoiled but had no love in his family at all. It seems like, you know, these people are hell-bent on power because that's the way that they believe love can come to them. And it's just a really interesting dynamic to think about. I'll make another video about cultural narcissism and also about the inner child work that I've been exploring, which has been really incredible and mind-blowing. And my Vipassana training has really been my anchor, and it's been an incredible thing. So I'm so glad that I did that, and I'm really glad that I did the plant medicine. And my path now is I've just started a master's in transpersonal psychology, and I also have started a course in shamanism. So I'm just really happy with how my healing process is going, because now I'm concentrating more on my healing journey. And how I can be able to impart this to others. So yeah, that's a little update for what's going on. I just wanted to say very quickly, for anybody who is, you know, thinking, oh well, you know, she did ayahuasca, you know, that means that she isn't really a Vipassana meditator. I urge you to listen to Goenka's talk on serving, and about how when you see someone else doing something that is not within the silas, or something that may not be agreeable to you, what's the action to take? Because I remember feeling this, and I remember thinking, oh my god, what is that person doing? They can't do that, they're breaking their Shila, no, can't do that, no, they're not a Vipassana meditator, no. And like he says about being the Vipassana police, and telling people what they've got to do. So for those Vipassana meditators that are, you know, watching this, please do so with an open mind and an open heart, because I'm pure to the technique in the terms of me practicing the technique. I just do the technique. It just enhances everything I do. So yeah, and also the tale that he says about the dish of kheer. He says a delicious dish called kheer with rice and milk and pudding. It's a delicious dish. And the mother makes it for the son and then gives it to the little boy. And the boy's like, nah, there's something in there. Take that out. And he's like, oh no, but it's delicious. Have it. And the boy's like, no, take it out. It should be in my bowl. Why? I want it in my bowl. And like all these kind of like preferences that he needs to take the kheer in. And I just thought, you know, we're here to take as much as we can from the practice, as long as you're not mixing it with other things, which I totally get. I'm just using it in conjunction with other things. I'm not mixing it. So I just wanted to make that clear. And thank you so much for your feedback. I really appreciate it. Yeah, refer back especially to that one in the serving. The Vipassana police is not the place where you want to be. So anyway, yeah, I'll release some more videos on those. I thank you so much for being on this journey with me, and for just being there and watching. So I'll speak to you soon. Take care. Bye.